Good morning and welcome back to another episode of GMKU Sports. My name is Zach Newkirk and I'll be your host this morning as we cover another exciting week in the sports world. We've got an exciting show today covering many different sports including basketball, softball, volleyball, and baseball. But first, let's go over some breaking news. The NFL will be testing out a new first down tracking method in the 2025 season. The chain gang will be sidelined, and instead of relying solely on referee spots, the ball will feature a virtual measuring system that will tell if the ball crosses the plane of the first down. This would be an extremely helpful addition, as over the years there have been many fans upset with controversial first down calls. On Tuesday night, Luka Doncic played against his former team, the Mavericks, in LA and had an incredible performance, recording a triple-double with 19 points, 15 rebounds, and 12 assists, leading the Lakers to a 107-99 win. Also on Tuesday night, Michigan State topped Maryland in tremendous March Madness-esque fashion on this half-court buzzer beater from Trey Holloman. Lastly, defensive end and projected top 5 pick Abdul Carter recently made headlines when he said that he believes he's the best player in the country and deserves to be picked first because of the impact he will have on whichever defense picks him. That may be the case, but an injury in his right foot is causing some concerns as it was revealed on Wednesday that he may be needing surgery soon. This adds to injury concerns that were already apparent when it was announced he wouldn't be doing workouts at the Combine because of a lingering shoulder injury. These recent events may hurt his draft stock, but he will likely still be a high pick and an effective player in his first season pending injury. That's all I have for breaking news. Let's get into the show. We'll start with a recap of KU's basketball win over OSU last Saturday. Then Harrison, Jack, Ryan, and I will talk about our thoughts on the team for the rest of the year. Then we'll hear about intramural basketball as well as baseball and softball. But first, Ulicia.
Hello Jayhawks, I'm here in Allen Fieldhouse following a very exciting 96-64 win against Oklahoma State. Coming off from a tough loss from BYU, Kansas came with the energy in the first half, outscoring the Cowboys 52-23. Hunter Dickinson was the lead scorer with 15 points tonight, securing a double-double with 11 boards as well. The Jayhawks shot 47% from the three-point line. Point guard Diggy Coit shot back-to-back threes off the bench, going 5 out of 9 for the game. Also coming off the bench and putting up stats, Flory Badunga had an impressive 16 boards, 9 of those being on the defensive end. The energy in Allen Fieldhouse was electric today as Kansas fans were finally able to enjoy a good win following a few tough losses. The Jayhawks maintained the lead and walked out of here today with a home win in Allen.
Thanks, Ulicia. Well, conference play is nearing the end, and the Jayhawks got a big bounce-back win against Oklahoma State and then another road win against Colorado. So, the Jayhawk team has looked good this year. There have been some concerns. Let's get into that. And what do you guys think is something that's important for the team to do going forward? What's something that they really need to hit on and do and execute in order to have good hopes for the tournament?
You know, Zach, I really just think we got to start hitting our shots. You know, consistency from behind the arc just is key and down the stretch because once you get into the Big 12 tournament, especially in March Madness, those three-point shots, that three-point shooting percentage becomes incredibly important.
I would agree. I think consistency is really big, and the shooting consistency has not been there at times. But I think we've got enough good shooters. When we can make these shots, it's going to be huge.
You know, this is sound kind of cliche, but for me, really the key to the end of the stretch of the season is just, you know, having some fun, playing for each other, playing with confidence. This is a very talented team on paper. We all know that. The whole country knows that. Teams should be fearing this squad. They got a lot of good players, a lot of talented players, and they just got to start playing with confidence, playing loose, and just go all out.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Play the best and feel the most confident for sure. But to re-emphasize what Harry was saying, I think hitting the threes is critical. A few weeks ago, I was watching the Auburn-Alabama basketball game, and I think first 5 minutes, every shot the teams took were threes, and they hit every single one. Watch like the NBA. It was crazy. And like that's kind of the competition we might have to face in the tournament. We have to make sure we lock that down and are good at it.
Mm-hmm. Moving on to a player aspect, what is a key player on the team that you guys think is going to have a huge effect? Someone that maybe hasn't been the most prominent player on the team, but someone that can have a huge effect in making a tournament run?
To be quite honest, I really like Flory Badunga. I think that his work down in the paint has been stellar throughout the entire season, and you know he's been coming off the bench as a really solid six-man for us. But you know I think that when Hunter Dickinson starts to, have some issues later down the stretch, I think Floyd Badunga is going to have his chance to shine. And I think when he gets his chance to do that, I think that's when the Jayhawks are going to be able to win some critical games.
I would agree. I'm going to say Rylan Griffin. Griffin has been a huge pickup in the transfer portal. He's been really solid pretty much, but he's, like I said earlier, we've had some inconsistencies. And when he's hitting his threes, he is hitting his threes. He can be a great shooter. We just need him to make sure, that he stays hot. So when he is hot, it's huge for the team. So I think he just needs to stay hot shooting like he did in the Houston game, even though that was a loss. Yeah.
I'm going to go with David Coit. He's been on fire the past 2 games. He has 21 points, 7 threes. He's almost shooting 50% from beyond the arc these past 2 games, ever since Bill Self commented as the new season, which I love. I love that mindset for this squad. He's really just the spark this team needed. Some people have compared him to Remy Martin. We'll see. We'll see how it unfolds down the stretch for Diggy.
Yeah, I'm going to say Shaquille Moore. We haven't seen too much of him this year. I feel like expectations kind of fallen low. Right now, he's only averaging 3.8 points a game, but, big but here, 33% from the 3-point. If he can keep that consistency up, he's going to be lethal coming postseason.
I agree. All right, now let's go on and take a look at the projected bracket for the Big 12 tournament. This would be if the season were to end today. Who do you guys think has, the best chance to win the tournament, and who's someone that you think could pull off kind of a sleeper run?
To be quite honest, I might be a little bit biased here. I think that I'm not totally sold that the Jayhawks are out of this one. I think, they've got a bye to the second round. They've got a matchup coming with possibly K-State in the Big 12 tournament, which could be absolutely incredible. We dropped one to them on the road this year. But, if we get them on a neutral site in a playoff environment with the talent we have, I really think that we can make a push. Depending on how this game goes tomorrow afternoon with Texas Tech, we'll get a preview of a possible quarterfinals matchup if everything plays out like it should. But another team I really like is Arizona in the second round. I think they've got to buy into the quarterfinals. They've been playing really hot all year. I really think they can give Houston a run for their money there at the top of the table. But yeah.
Yeah, I also really like KU. I think on the bracket, that's a pretty good draw for KU, I think. I think placement in the bracket, I like all of those potential matchups, really. It's going to be hard to beat Houston. I think Houston just defensively is so strong, and they're just such a powerhouse team, to be honest. Now, I don't think that doesn't mean that no one can beat them, but I do like their chances. I also love West Virginia. West Virginia has kind of been slept on all year, I think. They have a great team, and I think, if they could get past Houston, I think they actually have a real shot at winning the tournament.
Yeah, dark horse for sure.
Yeah, I like Houston. Obviously, that's not really a hot take. I think they're obviously, like you said, Zach, defensively incredible. Milos Uzan, he has really come on as of late. That's impressive. Same with LJ Cryer. That's just a really good squad that's bought in. They all play hard. They all play for each other, and they just, what they do on the road year in and year out is pretty incredible. It's fun. But my dark horse for this Big 12 tournament is actually BYU. They've really emerged as of late. They're finally ranked. Personally, I don't see how they even have 8 losses. That's just a team that's a squad right there. They have shooters all over the floor. They got great post play. They can play defense too from time to time. Inconsistent there, but still, and Iowa State, obviously. They always play well in Kansas City. You always bring out a huge crowd, and obviously KU too, but we'll see.
Yeah, right. Call me an optimist. Obviously, I want KU going all the way. I think we can definitely do it, or they can definitely do it for sure. But also, it's a Big 12 tournament. We've seen every year upsets happen. Something happens that we just don't expect. Team goes that we just didn't expect to win. So I feel like it's too close to call right now, but I will say Houston not winning it. I think predicting an early upset coming for Houston. They've been so good all year. They are, I was looking at it, undefeated on the road this year. Their only loss is at home, which is crazy. I think playing in a neutral environment, they've been good so far, but that luck is going to fall short soon. They are not going to win this tournament.
All right, and that's all the time we have for you today. But show out tomorrow, KU versus Texas Tech in Allen Fieldhouse. It's going to be a great game, and hopefully the Jayhawks can pull off the win.
You may not hear it at first, but it's there. Our chant, rising. On On this summit, callings converge, voices unify into a chorus that sounds out for good, for greatness. Can you hear it?
Thanks for sticking with us. The Jayhawks had an incredible walk-off win last night in their home opener against the Omaha Mavericks. Dario Soria pushed the Hawks to 8-0 with a monster walk-off grand slam. Kansas had trouble earlier in the night, but put together a late-game rally with home runs from Chase Diggins, Brady Ballinger, and Brady Council. The Jayhawks are approaching the longest win streak since 2014, and according to Fitz, it's all because of routine.
You have to be a great teammate to play here, and that is one we do a ton of background work on. What is this guy like when things are good? What's he like when things are bad? What's he like to his best friend on the team? What's he like to the opponent, the opposing coaches, the guy that he gets along least with on the team? So we do a lot of digging on the makeup side, and so I think we come in with a like-mindedness.
Although the pitching staff has been hot, the offense is where the Jayhawks have been standouts during this historic streak. Power has been recently as the Jayhawks have combined for 15 home runs through 8 games. Chase Diggins has been the standout star in the clubhouse, acting as the ultimate utility player in the home opener. He started out at second base, but Diggins made the switch to catcher in the 8th inning, showing off his remarkable versatility. Coach Fitz credits this to his experience at Odessa Junior College.
There's something in baseball about time and knowing how to work in at bat. And I think if you guys were talking to Chase Diggins earlier, like Chase Diggins does things in a game that you can only learn through failing and succeeding and doing it over and over again at a place like Odessa Junior College.
Diggins caught a Maverick stealing third base, and then in the very next at bat, hit a 2-run home run to tie the game at 8 runs apiece. Kansas reliever Malachi Vitak had a rocky start to his appearance last night, but due to the stellar play from Chase Diggins behind the plate, he eventually struck out 2 Mavericks to set the Jayhawks up for their cinematic walk-off victory. If you want to catch the Jayhawks this weekend at Hoagland, they'll be continuing their series against Omaha this afternoon. First pitch is scheduled for 3 p.m. If you like to road trip, you can catch the Jayhawks continue their series in Wichita at 1 p.m. on Saturday, then again at Hoagland for the series finale on Sunday at noon. Admission for students is free, so make sure to get down to the ballpark for opening weekend. Addie?
The college softball season has been in full swing within the past week, and I'm here to give you an update on how our Jayhawks softball team has been doing so far. The team had an underwhelming start to the season after dropping 3 in a row in the FAU Paradise Classic the first week of February. They opened the season by playing a tough Clemson team who has Women's College World Series aspirations, but KU hung in there with them and only ended up losing by 1, 3-4. They then lost to FAU, who was the host of the tournament, and Wisconsin right after. Between the 3 games, Kansas only had 3 errors compared to the opponent's combined total of 8, but they ultimately just could not get the job done with timely hits. They finished out the tournament winning against Missouri State in run rule fashion 8-0, but then dropping their final game 3-5 against a good SEC team in Ole Miss. The team then traveled to Long Beach, California for the Wilson Invitational, where they had an impressive showing. The team won 3 and only dropped 1 to Cal, but without a doubt, the highlight of the Jayhawks season so far has been their 3-2 victory over Long Beach State in the last game of the tournament. Freshman Kaylee Washington took the circle for the start, managing to minimize the damage in the first inning despite Long Beach State jumping out to an early 2-0 lead. After a quiet stretch offensively, Kansas found its spark in the 4th inning when junior Haley Kripe launched a 2-run home run to tie the game at 2-2. Freshman Bailey Aremza then delivered a solo shot of her own to give Kansas its first lead of the game at 3-2. Junior Lizzie Ludwig then took over in the circle and was dominant in relief when she entered the 4th inning and immediately shut down Long Beach State's offense. Long Beach State made things interesting in the bottom of the 7th, though, loading the bases with no outs, but the Jayhawks defense came up clutch and turned a double play before forcing a game-ending groundout, sealing the 3-2 victory in dramatic fashion. Last week, the Jayhawks traveled to San Marcos, Texas to beat Southern Illinois twice and offense powerhouse Texas State. The team now sits at 7-5 overall on the season and are set to play Marshall and Oklahoma today in Norman. Make sure to mark your calendars for the first home game of the season, Wednesday, March 12th at 5 p.m. versus Wichita State. Back to you, Zach.
Thanks, Addie. It's great to hear that the softball team is on a winning streak and baseball is having an incredible start too. Hopefully both teams can keep it up and make for an exciting spring for Jayhawk sports. Stay tuned because after the break we'll be hearing updates on NIL and League One volleyball.
Where you go to college makes a statement about you. This place will become a part of you, your identity for life. The University of Kansas, a great place to be you.
Welcome back. Former NBA player Charles Barkley claims that the current NIL escape is unsustainable. Barkley, who is now an analyst for both TNT and CBS Sports, spoke about the structure of NIL during an ESPN broadcast between his alma mater, Auburn, and Ole Miss. The 16-year-old NBA vet explained that he's all for the idea of players earning income, but asking colleges to help fund these departments, especially smaller schools, is an unsustainable model. Many collegiate sports enthusiasts enjoy the idea of NIL, however, it has become a monster in college athletics today. Barkley's main concern for the model is what most people also worry about: when does it end? From first taking into effect in July of 2021, its original purpose was to compensate student athletes for things such as autograph signings and appearances, which athletes originally were prohibited from because of their amateur status. Now, the model has shifted to a pay-for-play structure and has been a way for schools to get top recruits and transfers. Many former athletes have spoken about the name, image, and likeness model, including former quarterback Cam Newton, who expressed how this new pay-for-play structure actually allows smaller teams to get better players. Former NBA player Richard Jefferson also had thoughts, highlighting the lack of regulation, where theoretically a player can sign for $1 million deal one year and then transfer to $1 million deal the next. Recently, it was revealed NBA superstar and former Arizona State Sun Devil James Harden made a six-figure donation to his former school's NIL collective. Harden donated because he wanted to allow his former team to be able to get five-star recruits in a competitive NIL market. His contributions allowed the Sun Devils to secure the competitive recruitment of five-star freshman Jaden Quaintance, who was previously committed to Kentucky. Harden is one of the few to directly donate to NIL funding, where most former athletes will use their money towards facilities and gear. Harden decided to cut out the middleman. Regardless of these former players' opinions, I think we can all agree name, image, and likeness is the future of college athletics. That's all I have on NIL. I'll pass it over to Kyla.
Thanks, Alicia. If you're a fan of volleyball, you might have heard some buzz around a new professional volleyball league that started earlier this year, League One Volleyball, or LOVE. LOVE is a professional women's volleyball league based here in the United States. And unlike other professional volleyball leagues, LOVE stands out because of its unique model. It isn't just focused on the top level. Its goal is building from the ground up, investing in youth clubs across the country to create a direct pipeline to the professionals. There are 6 inaugural LOVE teams located in Atlanta, Austin, Houston, Madison, Ohio, and Salt Lake City. The inaugural season is just about at its halfway point, and as expected, the competition has been intense. With Olympians and recent NCAA graduates, every team is star-studded. LOVE Atlanta has been dominating the standings with impressive performances from U.S. Olympians Kelsey Robinson-Cook and Danielle Coutinho. The timing of this new league couldn't be better, with women's volleyball exploding in popularity. Just last year, we saw record-breaking attendance at NCAA games, and LOVE attendance has been strong, with fan engagement growing fast, proving that volleyball has a place in the professional sports landscape. With LOVE, fans will have more opportunities than ever to see high-level volleyball right here in the United States. Now it's back to Zach.
Thanks, Kyla. It's cool to hear about a new sports league that's thriving in its first season and providing more talented athletes with professional opportunities. Up next, we'll have a breakdown of the weekly weather from Olivia. See you after the break.
MP's got 12, and a big question mark for MP.
Welcome back to Good Morning KU Sports. Now, we have had a lot nicer weather over the past week. We have been above average on temperatures, and we're going to see some of that continue throughout this week, but we're also going to be expecting some rain showers coming up early next week into the midweek, so I'll break that down a little bit later. But first, taking a look outside right now, this is West Topeka. As you can see, it's clear skies. We are currently sitting right around 57 degrees today. It's pretty sunny out there, and the winds are blowing out from the west at about 12 miles per hour. Now, for the rest of the day today, we're going to be experiencing a nice warm-up. We're going to kind of top out right around 70 degrees this afternoon, except it is going to be quite gusty out there. We're expecting gusts of 25, upwards of 30 miles per hour this afternoon, so beware of that as you're walking around campus. And we'll start to cool off and also increase in cloudiness throughout the evening tonight, so partly cloudy skies expected. We're also going to drop down in temperatures tonight. We're going to go right around freezing, and we're going to notice that dip in temperatures as well tomorrow. We're not really going to warm up as much as we did today. We're going to be a lot cooler. So if you're planning on going to the men's basketball game tomorrow against Texas Tech, we're going to be significantly colder. Temperatures are going to be right around the mid to upper 40s for your highs, but mostly sunny skies. So it's going to be a nice day if you're planning on driving out and heading to the game. As for baseball, we have a couple of games over the weekend. For today, we're going to be right around 70 degrees in the afternoon at the start of the game. For tomorrow, again, they're in Wichita, not actually Lawrence because of the basketball game, so it's going to be a little bit warmer down in Wichita, right around 56 for the game. And for Sunday, back up here in Lawrence, they're going to be right around 50 for their high at the start of the game. Now for softball, they are in Oklahoma for their series, so they're going to be a bit warmer down there as well. They're also going to be pretty windy today. Temperatures are going to be right around 67 at the start, and they're going to warm up this afternoon up to almost 80 this afternoon, which is quite warm down there. Tomorrow they're going to be in the 60s for their game, and Sunday they could have a chance of showers. It's pretty small, so not expecting too much impact from the game. It should be relatively clear at the start, and hopefully they won't have any impacts towards the end. Now, we are going to have some weather coming in. This is what we're kind of expecting on Sunday night into Monday. There's going to be a chance for some rain to kind of build and push through the area. Otherwise, we're not really expecting any rain Monday, but then Tuesday, we're going to be seeing some rain start to develop in Oklahoma, Arkansas, and kind of building up through the area. Now, that could bring some rain showers for us, although we're not really expecting a ton of rain with this system. It could dump a lot of rain. It could dump not as much. We really don't know. It's kind of still too far out to really know what's going to happen, but something to kind of keep your eye on as you're preparing for the next week. But all of that rain, it's not going to impact any of our sporting events. Most of our games that we have happening are this weekend or early next week. So for our women's tennis team that are playing against Texas Tech in Texas today and Colorado later on Sunday, they're not really going to have any impacts, and basketball games are looking relatively good at the beginning of the week. Now, taking a look at our 7-day forecast, we really are expecting to dip in temperatures tomorrow back to more normal values for early March, and then we're going to experience a nice little bit of warming back whenever we're going to be having those chances of rain come in on Monday and Tuesday, and then once that rain kind of pushes through on Wednesday and Thursday, we're going to be returning back down to those normal upper 40s, lower 50 values that we would expect this time in March. Zach?
Thanks, Olivia. It's pretty crazy how it went from negative 15 to 60 in just 1 week. Well, that's all we have for you this morning. Thanks again for tuning in, and don't forget to catch Playmakers at noon. Have a great weekend, and as always, rock chalk. We'll see you next week.